Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. Appreciate you taking some time out of your morning or early afternoon, wherever you happen to be. My name is Jonathan Yakasha. I'm the Senior Manager for Open Innovation Programs with TechConnect. I'll be your host, MC, and general all-around asking questions kind of guy. I am joined by these two gentlemen here who are here to talk to you all about ERVA. Let's start with you, Charles. Why don't you introduce yourself, please?
Good afternoon, everyone, or good morning. I'm on the East Coast, so it just crossed 12 p.m. So welcome, everybody. I am Charles Johnson Bay. I'm Senior Vice President at Booz Allen Hamilton, and I am the co-principal investigator of the Engineering Research Visioning Alliance, or ERVA. And
Sean, how about you?
Me? Hello, everybody. My name is Sean Guillory. I'm also at Booz Allen. In terms of things with like ERVA, tacitly have been kind of participant, and even in terms of like wanting to do more and kind of do more sort of things, I'm here to help out with folks in terms of the participant experience. So yeah.
Hey, fantastic. So for all of our attendees, this, like all of our previous webinars, is intended to be interactive. We want to hear what your questions are. These two gentlemen are going to talk for about 15 minutes or so, but then we're going to transition to your questions. At any point during their presentations, please feel free to submit your questions. We will get to as many questions as we can in the time allotted today. And if we are running out of time and don't get to all of your questions, don't worry, we will get you the information that you are after. So with that, Charles, I will make you presenter and you can start sharing your screen and go ahead with your presentation. And you should be ready to go.
So I am going to show, hopefully it gives me a choice. It says your screen.
We can see a screen.
Okay, so hold on a second.
All
right, hold on a sec. Hold on one quick second. I will, give me 1 second. All right. So I think you guys are seeing yourselves.
See your desktop.
All right, which one are you seeing?
Now we see. Yeah, we see
your presentation.
All right, let me do this. I need to do. Give me 1 second. Sorry, everybody. I'm going to do a swap right here.
The swap. It's correct.
There we go.
All right, good. So I'm going to start. All right. Well, thanks, everybody. Here we go. Got started. So this is for our Tech Connect webinar for our Tech Connect event that's going to happen in June. And so certainly happy to have everyone here to just participate and listen. As I said, I am Charles Johnson Bay. A lot of my friends call me CJ, so please feel free to call me CJ in your questions. And Sean, we've introduced each other already. So what's ERVA, the Engineering Research Visioning Alliance? Well, ERVA launched in April of 2021, so we are just celebrating our second birthday here. This is a 5-year cooperative agreement funded by the National Science Foundation, and the awarding organizations were the Big 10 Academic Alliance, EPSCoR Idea Foundation, and University Industry Demonstration Partnerships were the big organizations that were involved. This is the PI team. So all of these great people I've been working with now for 3 years, right? Because we were working about a year before we were awarded. So it's great to work with these fine people. Dorota, who's the principal investigator out of the Ohio State University. You've got myself. You've got Idil Shamiloglu and Dorota represents the Big 10 Academic Alliance. I represent the industry. Idil Shamiloglu from the University of New Mexico, who's also co-principal investigator, represents the EPSCoR Idea Foundation. We've got Tony Bukinfuso, who represents the University Industry Demonstration Partnership. And then we've got my good friend Pramod, who is at UCO Irvine, is a co-principal investigator, and he's our academic at-large person. So this is the team. We've worked together to make all this stuff happen. So what are we going to talk about today? One, why be a part of a listening session? Who is ERVA? What do we do? What are our outcomes and what's next? And I'll start, with the bottom line up front. The reason why I think it's good to participate in a listening session is because that's where we're listening to you. We're listening to our audience and understanding what are some of the big ideas that that the United States needs to focus its engineering research on. What are some of the salient, bold, nascent research that the engineering community needs to, one, speak with one voice to the United States and says, these are important problems that the United States needs to address. And we're going to talk about some of them. We've done 6. The listening sessions leads to a visioning session. We've done 6 visioning sessions. The 6th one, which was just done March 30th and 31st, and it was hosted at Oak Ridge National Labs, was about distributed manufacturing. It's a fantastic event. Lots of great ideas. We're writing the report now, and that report should come out in about 12 to 16 weeks. So again, why should you attend? To identify, network, nationalize, influence, and discount. So we're looking at identifying pre-competitive research technology gaps, as I've talked about, multidisciplinary engineering innovation. We really do pride ourselves of being a network of networks. We have ERVA itself, from the organizations that are represented. We have all 50 states represented, as well as a couple of US territories. We really want to look at those gaps in that multidisciplinary areas for engineering, and look at that future funding landscape. What should that be? And then also, there's a discount involved on why you should attend, because you can receive a discounted rate of 20% off to attend the Tech Connect World Innovation Conference when you register to attend both the workshop and the pre-workshop webinar. So you're already halfway there today, and you get additional 20% by attending. So it should be pretty great, and we can thank you in your pocket with a discount as well. So with that said, I'm going to hit to sort of the mission of ERVA is to identify and develop bold, transformative new engineering research directions. Again, because we want to really bring the engineering community together to look at where does the United States need to place its funds, place its efforts on these very high impact, innovative research directions that benefit society. And our goal is really to prioritize that, enable those new opportunities, communicate that vision, and synthesize and cultivate those relationships. And we've been doing this now for over 2 years, and have had great success so far in bringing these communities together and developing these reports. I talked about our core research partners in the Big Ten Alliance. So these are just some numbers. I'm sure some people out there that want to say, well, what does it look like? So here's, some numbers for you that's looking at, certainly the number of R1 institutions that are participating, the number of overall institutions, HBCUs, Hispanic serving institutions, et cetera. And then from UIDP, when you look at, again, we cover universities, industries, government, all of that. These are things that are of interest. And so when you talk about bringing these ideas together and speaking with one voice, we talked about diversity right up front in the beginning, how important it was. And so this partnership that we have helps ensure that. We also, besides the folks that participate, in the core institutions, we also have affiliate partners. So you can see everywhere from, I'll start here, the American Society for Engineering Education, from them all the way to SHIP and to SHIP to SME. I mean, WePan, you name it, we have, and this is growing. So if you want to participate, one quick commercial, if you go to ervacommunity.org, ervacommunity.org, you too can, one, become an ERVA champion, and you can investigate how your organization can become an affiliate partner. So with that said, it's about shared vision and getting this shared success. I talked about multidisciplinary, multi-sector, talked about our diverse backgrounds. All of this is within what we do. It's baked into the DNA of ERVA, as well as our listening session and visioning sessions. Here you'll see we've done 6 events. Again, as I started off, we just are celebrating our second year of, just finished our second year of being in existence. Our goal, our one goal when we first got awarded in 2021 was to do 1 event that year, and then 2 events the next year, and then by the 3rd year do 4 events. Well, when you look at all of what's going on in the world today and just a bigger need, we actually did 2 events our first year. One was the role of engineering in addressing climate change. The second one is leveraging biology to power engineering impact. We did those 2 in our first year. And then we did 4 our second year. 4 is, again, where we are looking to go and maintain that pace. And so the unhackable infrastructure, and actually, I'm going to have, well, let me go here. I'm going to come back to our friend Sean to talk about his participation, because that one was the first one we did in person. Because, we all remember COVID. We're still, going through some of that. But the fact of the matter is, when we got started, was all in COVID. So we were able to, with the right restrictions in place, hold our first one. An unhackable infrastructure at MIT. We also have looked at sustainable transportation networks, engineered systems for water security. We did that in February. And as I mentioned earlier, the engineering, the future of distributed manufacturing, which just happened in Oak Ridge National Laboratory on the 30th and 31st. So with that, Sean, how about you talk a little bit about your experience at the unhackable infrastructure in-person visioning event?
Oh, that one's a lot of fun. And then even the first one I did, biology, it was all virtual. I was a pure participant in that one. That was, again, only with your promise that it will be fun, I kind of came into that. And even the kind of stuff that, charges me up, where, even at Booz Allen, we're trying to take the lead and like, all right, thinking 5 years out. When they're talking about stuff like, all right, what's like 30 to 50 years out, it just kind of blew my mind in terms of the things that were just kind of talked about, talked about people, smartest people in the industry, smartest people in terms of academia, and then even in terms of like the government aspect as well. It was a treat, so much so that what steps short of begging, but in terms of like wanting to be on for the unhackable infrastructure one, which I was a task lead on that one. And again, for some of these things where, it kind of laid out nicely between like the networking and talking about like these really innovative things. And for folks who have that, I don't want to say complaint, but like, gosh, why isn't there any funding for this, and this thing that I think is really going to change the future? This is the forum for you. And this is the kind of stuff where, between all of them, again, they really hear you out. So even some of the future events that we're kind of planning, I've been pleased and honored in terms of them hearing me out on that. So again, a bunch of fun, being a participant to the planning, starting from the listening sessions to the visioning sessions. Again, highly recommend to everybody.
Fantastic, thank you. And while you're thinking about your questions, please put your questions down in chat. We're looking forward to answering them. But this one is sort of what we do. So this listening session that we are gearing up for at Tech Connect, that is really where it starts. So going to the community and understanding and listening in on what are some of these ideas, and hosting them in. And then from the listening sessions, we do quite a number of these, and then we feed them into our structure, into our standing council, our advisory board, all that. The PIs team looks at them, and then we decide what our visioning event is going to be. That's where those 6 reports, the visioning events that have already been done, that's how that happens. And then from that comes a high impact report. And then really, once that report is done, it's about disseminating. So we have presented our reports at Congress. We have sent them to certainly the deans at number of colleges, to government agencies and all that. So we've got to disseminate broadly. It's not just, it is sitting on our webpage, but it's not just sitting on our webpage and we say we hope people come to it. No, we are being active on getting it out, getting the word out, and having people really understand, hey, this is some great work. This is something where the community, the engineering community has come together and have spoken and say this, from a national perspective, is where we need to focus our engineering research and head towards that way. So that is why we do that. So our listening session objectives is to identify those areas, identify those gaps that are of national importance and are specifically of engineering focus. The thing that is relevant in a number of cases, but out of scope, is certainly not lobbying. So we are not a lobbying organization, to be certain. So we're not a lobbying organization. And so in policy, though some policies are important, those things come up, particularly, in a number of our areas, but manufacturing, which we just did, there were a number of policy issues that were brought up, but really the main focus was about, the engineering research that needs to get there. Out of scope is non-US focused research, general social and political recommendations. So certainly it's not about politics, all that. As engineers, we're pretty much about what is going on, where do we need to go. So it's so you're with your people talking about things that are important. So the process, we're really starting here, right? Just being inspired. How can so this is a typical question: how can electrical and computer engineering research contribute to a better society in 2050? Define those research gaps needed to get there, and then report out. That's just a real short snapshot on how things, how you get there. But it certainly does start off with inspiration and attending these listening sessions. So with that, once we have that, the output is that report is shared out. Again, due diligence is done, and then we determine the event themes. So certainly, as I said before, stay involved, go to ervacommunity.org, become an ERVA champion. You can recommend potential new affiliates, as we talked about. And I think we did okay. We're about 12:19 and we're open for questions. So
All right. So
sharing.
to our attendees, as has been said, please feel free to submit your questions. We will get to as many of them as we can. There are a number of them coming in. So I'm actually going to ask this very first question to both of you. It's slightly different for each of you. CJ,
Yes.
From an administrative type role, what does an ERVA session look like? Sean, from an attendee/participant role, what does an ERVA session look like? And how are those two things different?
So I'll start with what does the session look like? Well, first of all, as I can tell you, I'll have to tell you that we have an amazing team, and anybody that's participated in a visioning session or listening session before, but particularly a visioning session, will tell you we have an amazing team that coordinates the transportation, hotel setup, breakout sessions, of how it's run, what are the questions that are being asked. We have facilitator training. We have folks that we pull together a thematic task force around that given topic. So these are experts in the area, and they're not all like old folks like me, right? It's a whole bunch of folks. We put diversity in every step of what ERVA does, where we get a good mix of people who have ideas together as a small group to help plan out the visioning sessions and get there. So it's a lot of work in the background by the ERVA team. There's a lot of planning that goes in it from the thematic task force. Once that's done, then the report, right? Getting the report written, getting one of the things that we're also doing is getting some technical papers written in respective referee journals, getting those out there. And that's something that we're starting now with our distributed manufacturing effort that we just did. So we should see those. So it's a lot of work, not only in pulling it together, writing the report, but also the dissemination of information. So that's all of the logistics and things that we've got to address going forward. Sean?
Okay, Sean, what's it like on the opposite side of it there to attend a session?
From all that kind of scaffolding and planning that CJ has kind of talked about, it really makes the participant aspect kind of really seamless. Like they take care of like your flight and your hotel. It is something where you're starting in the morning. So I remember it being like 8 to after 4 for 2 days. Then, you go out to dinner and whatnot. They provide lunch. It's something where you kind of go into these, small kind of tiger team kind of breakout groups, and it could be depending on what the topic is, it could be talking about like a subsection of each topic. It could be like individual kind of like, I don't want to say micro, but subsection kind of topics. But and the teams aren't something where like, all right, all the experts go here or here. It really is kind of like a breakfast club kind of setup, and that's actually like really makes it fun. You go, oh, okay, I actually didn't think of this perspective in terms of this and this, and again, it's definitely been fun in that way. You have the discussions. You need to record all the things in terms of this is more on the planning side. They're going to record all the answers. You kind of winnow it down in terms of like what the answer, like, all right, this is what we're going to share to the big group. And then if it is like the last one I was a part of, it's all those kind of ideas and thoughts in terms of what we can work on in the next 5 years, 10 years, all the way up to 50 years, are shared with the group, and they put it on a scale in terms of, this is everybody can vote at this point, like how much they think is impactful versus like, okay, I can absolutely see it. And that's usually kind of one of the kind of final outputs that's kind of given on that. Then the discussions on like folks who can see it or not, versus sometimes you can see like a clear split of folks who are like, oh, okay, I think it's something that's like doable next 5 years versus like, no, because of this, and this. That kind of discussion, when you get back to the big macro group, is where it gets really fun too, in terms of seeing different perspectives. And again, those are kind of insights that I feel like it's been helpful in terms of even my like day job sort of thing. Like, oh, okay, this is a good thing to know, or okay, I didn't know about this. This can be something helpful. So yeah, word to kind of encapsulate all that, I guess, like enlightening, and something that, again, like even in terms of like my tangible job, it feels like it's been helpful on top of the networking and knowing that this is going to be helpful for what's going to be funded down the line, the direction we're going to be going in terms of like these kind of topics. So all in all, it's been all aces. So yeah.
Okay, all right. CJ, you talked a lot about the different organizations that you engage with, whether they're academic or industry, whatnot. We have a question. Do you partner with entrepreneur support organizations? Is anybody that fall within that category?
Yes, actually. So just, I guess, to be clear, we partner with anybody. Like if you have some thoughts in a given area, or if you have some thoughts, say, hey, I've got a big idea. That is something that you can submit through our website, that you can contact me or any of the other principal investigators or anybody that's involved with ERVA to get that idea in. So thanks for the question, because I just want to make it clear that we do work with everybody. And if you got an idea, the way you ensure that you're going to get a primo idea that's actionable, that you can work, is you need a bunch of ideas, right? And those things come together, and it's through that process. And the process, we call it through our engine. That's how we come up with these very big topics that are national in impact. So the quick answer is yes. We'll work, and we've had folks, we've had futurists come in to help us think through things. We've also had folks in the venture community talk to us. So yeah, so we're open to all, any and all ideas.
Yeah,
Okay, great.
whoever asked that, yeah, highly encouraged, because talking to leadership, yeah, more on like the entrepreneurs, the VC, even understanding like private equity. So I know that's something more they're looking to kind of like incorporate. So yeah, whoever asked that, like I highly encourage, keep checking this out.
Okay.
Yep, be a champion. Go to ERVAcommunity.org and sign up to be a champion.
Okay. We've got just a couple of minutes left on our time here. To our attendees, I think you're kind of picking up that these guys are sort of enthusiastic about ERVA and would love to talk to you about it. So if you've got questions, these are the guys to talk to. So, I mean, I would encourage anybody who has a question about an ERVA listening session to submit your questions so that we can, literally talk to the experts and get you the information that you're after. One question we've got left, and unfortunately it is the last question that we've got at the moment. Oh, wait, great. Outside of the session, if they wanted to contact you, what would be the best way to do that?
So a real easy way to contact me or Sean is through LinkedIn. That's pretty easy and pretty standard. So you can do that. Also, and I keep directing folks to ERVAcommunity.org, that webpage. That webpage shows the executive committee, the standing board, I'm sorry, the advisory board and standing council. It also has the reports that are out and written already. You can get those reports. You can, so ERVAcommunity.org is the place to go for information. It's very easy to get there. Also to become a champion and find out more information and sign yourself up for a list to get information. And we're not an organization that floods your email 500 times a day with information that you don't need. We basically keep you up to date on these are, so from that you would know what listening sessions are coming, you would know when the visioning sessions are coming, those kind of things, when the reports are out, all of that. So you will find all that. But that's, so directly with Sean or myself, LinkedIn is probably the best way. And to find out more information about ERVA, I would go to ERVA Community, one word, ERVAcommunity.org.
Okay, great. So we are just about out of time. The last question is broadly about topic spaces that ERVA might consider. From the ones that you have already done, I didn't see anything really dealing with commercialized space economy. Is that something that is on ERVA's radar for a potential listening session in the future?
So that's certainly in the realm of possibility. So yes, submit, if you got an idea, submit that idea. I think that's a great idea. I don't think, from my memory, I don't think we've had anybody submit an idea on space economy. So I think that's certainly something worse. So again, that's why we're doing the listening sessions, right? Because the listening sessions is where we pull out these ideas and that get further refined. So if no other reason, if you have an idea, you got a big idea and say, hey, I wonder if this is important. Well, I believe this is important. I'm going to come and make sure my voice is heard during a listening session on why space economy is important, or engineering for space economy, or engineering enabling of economies in space, right? Something. I would make sure that I attended a listening session. I would make sure that I sent that idea into the in the ERVAcommunity.org website and let folks know.
My quick advice, and I know we got to bounce. My quick advice in terms of topics: look at it in terms of importance, and look at it in terms of, a lot of folks say like it's impossible today. If you talk to a lot of folks on hackable infrastructure, that's impossible. Regrowing limbs, or how can a 70-year-old like eventually win like the 100-meter dash? That's impossible. Those are the kind of stuff that I think like seem to be kind of like take the cake, so to speak. So importance and seemingly impossibility. So let me end it there.
Okay. Everybody, we are actually out of time and out of questions for the moment. lots of ways to get in touch with these two extremely enthusiastic and knowledgeable gentlemen. So please avail yourself of the opportunity to do so. I think they would love to hear from you. And if you're interested, please consider signing up for the listening session at the Tech Connect conference. We would love to have you there and love to hear your ideas for the future. With that, I'm going to say thank you very much once again to Sean and CJ for joining us today. To our attendees, thank you for joining us today. We appreciate you taking the time out of your day and listening to us talk for a while. So thanks and have a good rest of your day. Bye.
Thank you, everybody. Take care.
Thank you.
Bye.
All right, bye-bye.